The purpose of this video is to introduce compliance professionals to the foundational principles of Bylaw 16, awards, benefits, and expenses for enrolled student-athletes. Bylaw 16 addresses the permissible awards, benefits, and expenses that student-athletes may receive under NCAA legislation. If a student-athlete accepts an award, benefit, or expense that is not authorized by NCAA legislation, the student-athlete will be rendered ineligible for athletics competition and the institution will need to seek reinstatement. If a student-athlete is eligible to receive an award for his or her participation in athletics while representing their institution, the awards may not include cash or cash equivalents, gift certificates, or gift cards that may be redeemed for cash, or country club or sports memberships. If a student-athlete is eligible to receive an award for his or her performance while not representing their institution, the award must conform to the rules of the amateur sports organization that governs the competition. These awards may not include cash or cash equivalents that exceeds actual and necessary expenses. Participation awards that are provided to student-athletes must be limited to those approved or administered by the member institution, its conference, or an approved agency that is specified in the NCAA manual. Any awards that a student-athlete has received may not be sold or exchanged for another item of value. Figure 16-1, found in the NCAA manual, breaks down the various awards with the value and award limits. A student-athlete may receive items given in recognition of athletics participation or performance. A student-athlete must be considered eligible for competition to receive an award. All awards presented to student-athletes by member institutions, conferences, or other approved agencies must be uniform. The entire team must receive the same items, or each student-athlete class must receive the same items. A student-athlete may not contribute to the purchase of an award. An institution may provide 4 complimentary admissions to student-athletes for each home and away competition. For postseason competitions, student-athletes may be provided 6 complimentary admissions. Institutions may only provide complimentary admission to student-athletes' guests through a pass list. Hard tickets may not be provided to student-athletes. Institutions may provide student-athletes with 1 complimentary admission to home events in sports other than the student-athletes. A student-athlete may not sell or exchange their complimentary admissions for items of value. The individuals that are receiving these complimentary admissions also may not sell or exchange their complimentary admission for items of value. Institutions may provide general academic counseling and tutoring services to their student-athletes. These services may be provided through athletics or through student support services offered on campus. In addition to academic services, services such as career counseling or personal development services that will support the success of a student-athlete may also be provided by an institution, conference, or the NCAA. Institutions, conferences, or the NCAA may provide medical-related expenses and services to a student-athlete. Housing and meals that are incidental to a student-athlete's participation are permissible benefits that can be provided to a student-athlete. Institutions may provide snacks at any time, nutritional supplements, meals in conjunction with home and away from home competition, or other meals deemed incidental to participation. Institutions may not have athletics-specific housing for student-athletes. Institutions may not have dormitories or blocks that resident populations consist of 50% or more of student-athletes. For the purposes of Bylaw 16, the definition of a family member is an individual with any of the following relationships to a student-athlete: spouse, parent or legal guardian, child, sibling, grandparent, domestic partner, or any individual whose close association with the student-athlete is the practical equivalent of a family relationship. An institution may pay transportation, housing, and meal expenses for a student-athlete's family to be present in situations when a student-athlete is injured or becomes ill. An institution may provide student-athletes' families with reasonable food and drinks for educational meetings, celebratory events, and on an occasional basis for other reasons. Student-athletes may be provided reasonable entertainment during the playing season, outside of the season during the academic year when classes are in session, or when student-athletes are required to participate in summer athletic activities. Student-athletes may not be provided cash for entertainment purposes. An institution may provide actual and necessary expenses to a student-athlete as they relate to practice. A student-athlete must be deemed eligible for competition to receive actual and necessary expenses for competition when representing the institution. A student-athlete only eligible for practice may not receive expenses for off-campus practice if competition is part of a trip. Institutions may provide actual and necessary expenses for a student-athlete for other competitions provided the competition fits within Bylaw 16.812. A student-athlete that is serving an academic year in residence due to their transfer status or amateurism certification conditions may not receive competition-related expenses. Student-athletes, their family, and friends may receive benefits provided they are expressly authorized by NCAA legislation. Some common benefits that are offered to student-athletes include occasional meals provided by the institution or a representative of athletics interest. If a booster provides a student-athlete with a meal, the meal may be catered, and the meal may take place at the individual's home, on campus, or at the facility that is regularly used for home competition. Student Assistance Fund. These funds may be used to assist student-athletes' needs that arise during their time in college. Some impermissible expenses include tuition fees, books, room and board, competition expenses for a student-athlete that is ineligible, outside athletic development opportunities for student-athletes that have remaining eligibility. There are many permissible benefits that may be provided for student-athletes outlined in Bylaw 16. Bylaw 16 also outlines the impermissible benefits that could jeopardize a student-athlete's eligibility. Impermissible benefits are often referred to by the term extra benefits. An extra benefit is any special arrangement made by an institutional employee or a representative of the institution's athletics interests for a student-athlete and their family or friends. This is not permitted by NCAA legislation. Extra benefits can include tangible items or services. A few examples of prohibited benefits include a loan of money, an automobile, discounted services or goods. For additional information regarding Bylaw 16, please refer to the NCAA Division I Manual. For clarification on awards and benefit questions, institutions may submit these through RSRO.